May 2026 ignites soul healing that only the real sky can reveal. Have you been feeling this? Like there's a strange combination for the fiery need to take action? You're driven but overwhelmed at the same time? Like you are at a threshold and you're not sure if you chose you wanted to walk through this door or not. In fact, you think maybe you didn't. I've been feeling this too. Spoiler alert. This is not the 4 planets in Aries story of mainstream astrology. What's actually happening is that there is a pulling T-square between the sun of flying solo in Aries and the full moon in the very tail end of Virgo that will be visible in the sky before dawn here on May 1st. And from May 1st to the 15th, this energy is going to ask something serious and sacred of you. This is not your grandmother's zodiac. This is something more real, more, physical. This is about being aligned with 13 constellations on the zodiac. Hi, I'm Beth Hansen, and if this type of star-based astrology is new to you, I have a free PDF linked down below where you can unlock the new zodiac, and I'll send it right to your inbox. This is all about connecting with the real sky, and the link is in the description, so go ahead and grab it, but let's dive right in to what is happening here. Here's what happens if you're working with the wrong map. With the popular tropical astrology, it's going to tell you that the moon is in Scorpio on the full moon and that it's time to dig deep, do the big emotional work, bring that whole karmic thing into your being and really dig into it, because they think the sun is in Taurus right now, and spoiler alert, it's not. It's in Aries. The divine feminine right now, in the real sky, in the stars above, the full moon is actually in the constellation of Virgo, right at the very tail end of Virgo. And she is absolutely not asking you to hide, not asking you to do your emotional work right now. What she is asking you to do is reset and get your systems in order. Your daily rhythms, your body, your practical life. The divine feminine is grounding empathy and psychic energy into real organized action, not mystery, not waiting, but with purpose, prepping you for what comes next. And then there's the sun that the moon is reflecting. Tropical astrology, like I said, thinks it's in Taurus, but the real sun is still blazing through Aries. So it's not time to slow down, be patient, tend your garden. The divine masculine is not retiring to the country. It's the star of a one-man show. And what a show it has been, holding leaders accountable right now by burning away ego-driven masks. It's clearing the karma of dead weight, so authentic, soul-aligned leadership. That's what it means when the sun is in Aries. It's soul-aligned. It can actually start to emerge in the world and in you. So if you miss that, you're missing your assignment for the next 2 weeks. Because this isn't just about you personally. This is about all of us. Because this is connected to the North and South node, Rahu and Ketu, and which means this is our collective world tree of where our roots are at in Ketu and where we're headed, where we aspire to be in Rahu as a collective of humanity and our role in it. So Rahu, the North Node in Aquarius, needs your emotional maturity and grounded systems right now. That is the moon in Virgo's job here for humanity. And Ketu, the South Node, that needs your soul-centered courage to stop performing and start leading from truth and authenticity. And that is the sun in Aries' job right now. And both the sun and moon are making individual trines to the nodes. And that is the most helpful aspect path. So it's not your responsibility, and you just have to show up. The energy is there for you to use. So here's the kicker. These two, the sun and moon, are being pulled into a T-square with Pluto. And Pluto is in Capricorn real world again. We're talking real world results happening here. So fire in Capricorn, fire in Earth. That means pressure isn't accidental. And it's not just an intense energy to survive. It's not just an Aries energy. It is an initiation, and initiations will cost you if you show up to the wrong address for the ritual. You don't want to miss this ritual. But I need to tell you something a little bit more personal. I need to tell you why I trust this work and the real stars so much. For 3 years, I lived in deep grief. My identical twin sister had passed away from cancer, and I genuinely did not know how to keep going. So I retreated to this beautiful Victorian house and created my studio space because I'm an artist, and my spirit guides led me and guided me patiently and persistently to quit my day job and show up at an event to sell my artwork. And it was there, talking to another vendor, a wise woman beyond belief. And that's when I discovered my moon, my sun, my Mars is not Gemini, it's in Taurus. Both me and my sister. So yeah, we had that twin thing going on. So Gemini twins, woohoo. But no, this is Taurus. Two stubborn women, two creative women, all three of these in Taurus. And that's called a stellium when they all join up like that in a single constellation. And I could see it right there on an astronomy app. Yes, you can use astronomy with astrology in this system. That's the whole point. It's like the old shamans of the day being able to look up at the sky and see what was happening. So the moment I saw what I saw, I froze. I stopped. I said, oh my gosh, this is so true. My whole life I've been doing things with my hands, gardening, making watercolor and oil paintings. Then I created jewelry, goddess pendant cameos. It's all about goddess. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Physical, tactile, beautiful things. That's what I did. That is Taurus. That is soul, emotion, and action, all expressed through the creation of form. Gemini never explained any of that. Nope. And my sister, she made wire-wrapped crystal pendants, and it's all earth stuff. And also, she was one of the most stubborn and tenacious people I've ever met in my life. And after she passed, I inherited her supplies. And so I started working with them, continuing what her hands had wrought. Now it's part of how I carry her with me now. And this is why I do the work. This work, not because I studied it in a book, but because the real sky told me the truth about myself. And I needed that truth more than anything else. And right now, with Mercury, Chiron, Mars, and Neptune all gathered together in a stellium in Pisces, we are in a deep moment of subconscious connection and water. Hello, telepathy tapes. Hello, things coming through on the river, the ocean of wisdom, because Neptune is there keeping the ebb and flow of his domain of Pisces in empathy, peace, and healing from the deepest levels of our collective subconscious and the Akashic records. None of us are one-dimensional, and this is what's happening in the real sky right now, and it's something we are all moving through together in our own way, and you deserve to see it clearly. So I do have a free chart calculator down below in the description, so if you pull it up, then you can follow along with what's happening in your birth chart and where all these things are landing for you. And if you haven't grabbed the Unlock the New Zodiac, go ahead and do that too, because I want you to have that for sure. I don't want you to miss out. So everything I am about to show you will point to your own sky blueprint, okay? And if you grab that free PDF either earlier or just now, go ahead and type in Zodiac Unlocked so I can welcome you to the True Sky family. I know what some of you are thinking right now. I invested money, I bought books, I've been studying, I have planned my life according to Tropical Zodiac. I am not going to take any of that away from you because that's where I started. I need to show you something that can't be unseen. On the morning of March 21st, the equinox, where Tropical Astrology says it's the start of the zodiac and everything's at 0 degrees Aries. That's not where it's at, nor where it's been at for like all the way back to 258, 59 BCE. That's the last time that the sun was in Aries during the spring March equinox, fall if you're in the southern hemisphere. You can pretend it's there, but right now that gap between what was and what is it matters more than it ever has because of where we are in our society, right? And Venus and Saturn right now are joined in a sextile. Venus in Taurus, in Earth, and Saturn in water, reaching towards the full moon with quincunxes together, sharing a vibration, 3 points, precise, brief on the full moon. But this is called a yod, the finger of God. And that means God, goddess, universe, everything is saying, okay, we're going to be pointing this rare configuration right there at the moon in Virgo and say, poke, 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 poke. You got to do something. You got to take action. Because this is not a gentle nudge. That's not what yods do. This is a very specific and very intense focal point for the full moon in Virgo. Getting that emotional maturity embedded into grounded systems. This is an absolute must for everything that's to come. Because remember, this moon was born actually in Pisces. Both the sun and moon were in Pisces for the new moon. And that the difference between being told to go inward to Scorpio and being called to build something real in Virgo. And that's why your body already has been telling you that something feels off. No amount of tropical study will fix this. The map itself needs to change so you can move forward. And I want you to stay with me here because this is the part that changes everything. Most people treat astrology like a forecast, like it's the weather, like something is happening to them, and that they either survive or benefit based on luck. And that is the old paradigm, but that is what's shifting right now. When the forecast feels wrong, when your body, which already connects to that energy via the power of the electromagnetic grid of Mother Earth herself, you assume you're the problem, that you're not sensitive enough, that you haven't studied enough, you're not spiritual enough to read the stars correctly. But that is not how the stars work. They don't give vague answers. The more you listen, the stronger the signal. What begins as a ripple becomes a flow of power. They work with you, not against you. And that is not poetry. This is physics happening above your head, below your feet, in your body right now. Not only are you enough, you are so much more than you ever dreamed you could be. Because, fun fact, Uranus, the great awakener, the rebel, is in Taurus, not Gemini. It's not reprogramming the mind. He's reprogramming reality. This is the planet of sudden clarity and electric truth, sitting there aligned with Alcyone, the crown jewel of the Pleiades, the 7 sisters. They're known to be goddesses, fae, maidens of mythology all over the world. It's this beautiful cluster that happens in Taurus. They're going to say the Pleiades and Gemini. Make it make sense. That's what we're doing here. So this cosmic clarity is being transferred to us because Alcyone is all about making things clear, and it's a frequency of awakening to our presence, to our spiritual messages, because it just really lets us know what Uranus is bringing in from the outer solar system, the rest of the galaxy, and beyond. And by aligning your heart, you're already reaching to the stars. The universe designed this conjunction to be acted upon your physical, real body. And of course, it's causing a lot of upset and chaos all around on Mother Earth. That is part of the story too. But this conjunction is telling you something specific. The clarity is already coming in The signal is already strong. The question is not whether the stars are speaking to you, it's whether you have the courage to listen. Because when you look at the real constellations and Uranus is sitting there with the actual Pleiades, the signal stops being a ripple and it starts to become a river. And once you learn to flow with that river, instead of fighting against it or staying on the banks, you do not go back to guessing. The stars are direct and meaningful in your life. And here is what you actually do. Now, I am not going to give you a long list of 10 things to journal about here. Oh no, I am going to give you one thing. Watch the real sky from May 3rd to the 14th and notice what you feel in your body each day. And that's it. One thing. And here is exactly what to watch for so the signal is clear. On May 3rd, this is when the moon actually enters Scorpio, opposes Venus, and Venus is in Taurus on this day. This is crone wisdom meeting the sensual goddess of love and beauty and prosperity. And that is being opposed by the moon in Scorpio, crone goddess. Remember, she started to wane. She's starting to disseminate her wisdom. So this energy meeting that physical beauty real growth, you feel your way into both of them. What do you currently have in your environment? What is it that you truly consider a treasure and a resource you can use in your life? At the same time this is happening, Mercury moves from watery Pisces into fiery Aries, joining the sun, and immediately squares our friend Pluto. So yes, now we have that Pluto activation in how we speak. This is your voice being tested, not punished, but tested. And what is the truth that you have been swallowing? Whether it's something you just tell yourself or tell others, what is it that you need to say out loud? This is what you need to do on May the 3rd. So we got the goddess energy, divine feminine in two very special forms. And then we've got Mercury, the messenger, in Aries, getting all fired up with Pluto in an earth sign. All these things weave together. And, you might feel like you're being pulled in two directions at this point. So the moon moves into Ophiuchus on May 4th. The 13th constellation on the zodiac, on the ecliptic, it's there. Just ask Neil deGrasse Tyson. And this is the healer, the one that tropical astrology left out of the wheel entirely. And she, the moon, is conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Both oppose Venus and Taurus. So again, we have this more darker thing going on, but this is more karmic. This is more raw and ancestral. This is undomesticated feminine energy, staring down comfort and asking which path is actually yours. Notice what feels like the safety of the blanket fort and what feels like it's actually exciting your soul to move forward. It's okay to rest in comfort. It's okay to lean into the wild energy. And it's okay to own both in sovereignty. Just be honest with yourself and your feelings. Now, on May the 7th, this is where the power begins shifting because Pluto is power and Pluto stations retrograde. That means, from our point of view, he's going to start moving backwards. Right now, he's standing still on May 7th. That Pluto, that yod that's been pointing to Ketu in Leo since April 6th from Pluto, he's been holding that line, now shifts within Pisces. Saturn the architect has been holding it since April 6th, and now he hands it off to his friend Neptune. And now it is shifting from the taskmaster, the tester, to the dreamer, to Neptune, bringing that energy in with Pluto and connecting it to Ketu, the south node. You're going to feel a change in pressure if you're sensitive to that. And this is another creative endeavor with Pluto and Neptune creating from the outer planets. Something is pushing its way forward into really looking inward and finding what your authentic self is and how you can do the work underground from the roots of who you are in conjunction with humanity. And that's about leading with power and flow from your intuition. Now, on May 9th, this is the day of a time of release because it's the last quarter moon in Capricorn and it squares the sun, but also Mercury in Aries. And it's trine Venus in Taurus. Venus is having a lot of stuff going on here. She's very much involved in the cycle along with Grandmother Moon. And this is why she's asking you to close out what no longer holds shape for you. You need to say, oh, that's not part of my reality anymore. That is not a resource I can draw on anymore. Capricorn wants you to be really honest and about what has served its purpose and where this needs to be going forward. Because at the time of this release, the moon is actually on the fish end of Capricorn, not the bullheaded end. This is about, okay, we're about to go into Pisces and we need to release some things. We need to let go of what no longer serves. What can you not carry into the water? And Aries wants you to be brave enough to say it out loud. That's what Mercury is talking about. And Venus in Taurus wants you to trust that what is real and beautiful and that you have created in life, if that remains true, if that remains solid, it will remain with you and be all the much more useful to you going forward. May 11th, this is the just breathe moment because this is when the moon is going to be checking in on Rahu, the north node, and seeing, okay, where are we at? Sun settles into Taurus on this day. It leaves the fire and is like, yeah, I think I need a break. All that soul level driven action. I'm going to take my soul and hang out in Venus's home. After this intensity of the last several days, the sky is giving you permission to breathe, to relax. And Rahu in Aquarius is just asking humanity to grow into something new, something innovative, and do it together. And the moon is lending some emotional calm. This is not a pause in the story. This is the sky saying you made it through the initiation. Now integrate what's been happening. Feel your feet on the ground. Let Taurus hold you. And then the last date we're going to look at is May 14th. This is the healing that the world has been waiting for. So Grandmother Moon moves into Pisces, meeting up with Mars, the warrior, and Chiron, the healer, all in a sign of deep spiritual water. This is a big day, particularly for young men and boys, because they've been carrying a lot of weight of unhealed masculine wounds. And even older men too. This is the sky creating a container for your emotional release, and that is long overdue. And here we have in Gemini, Jupiter is in Gemini and at 22 degrees, 22 bones in the skull, and Gemini is how we think and how we learn and how we communicate, and it squares this triple conjunction with a direct, well, I'd like to say invitation, but it's Jupiter and he's like, oh no, it's more like a command. Either you cry it out or I'll give you a reason to cry. Name the wound. Do your inner work, not as weakness, but as the bravest thing a person can do. Confront your pain. Confront your sorrow. Confront your resentments. Confront your fear. The sky does not leave you here alone, though, because Venus in Taurus reaches out with a sextile, steady, warm, reassured. She will be there to hold your hand while you release what needs to be released. And meanwhile, over our soul-leveled friend and Mercury are conjunct in Taurus. Yes, they're both in Taurus at this point, and it's sextile Jupiter. So that's keeping every conversation that happens on this day grounded and soulful, optimistic, and real. This is not about suffering. This is about the healing the whole sky organized. And here's what I'm asking you to do. One action, and it's simply this. Keep a voice note on your phone for each of these days. Speak one sentence. Not what I'm telling you, not what you think the astrology means, what you felt. That is you learning to hear the signal. And that is the ripple becoming a river that leads to an ocean of stars. And I want to tell you what really happens when people connect with the real sky. Not the dramatic version, the real version. There was this one person who came to me, and they're gifted, intelligent, and had been studying astrology for years. But something never quite fit for them. When they discovered that they had a Virgo stellium, Sun, Mars, and Jupiter all in Virgo, and the tropical system kept pointing towards Libra, when they found that, everything started to make more sense. The real sky was like, oh my gosh, it clicked. Just like that. No amount of studying the tropical charts will ever get you to that point. In her own words, she said, this information is precious to me. True sidereal astrology has made me understand my purpose even better. What a relief. Relief. That is the word that people are using the most when they come to true sidereal astrology. Not excitement, not amazement. There are moments like that. But overall, all-encompassing relief, like they've been holding their breath for years and are trying to make themselves fit into a shape and contort into some paradigm, some idea of what they were supposed to be. And now they finally get to relax and exhale. And another person simply told me, hey, I'm familiar with astrology, but I've never felt it fit right. And this reading, it resonated with me more than I expected. And this has happened again and again and again. And then the real sky shows them something true, and their whole body recognizes it in an instant before their mind even has a chance to catch up. And here's what that recognition does over time. You stop second guessing your instincts and your insights. You were never bad at astrology. And in my case, I thought I was just too dumb to get it. Right now, during May 1st through the 15th, you speak one sentence a day about how you're feeling, how your body feels, how your emotions are playing out as these transits are moving through the real sky. And somewhere between May 3rd and May 14th, something will land in a way that feels different from every astrology forecast you ever followed. Not because I told you what to feel, but because the stars spoke clearly to you. It's a small sacrifice to just say, click, I feel this today. Take a few minutes a day. What you get back is the map that actually fits the life you are actually living. And we've covered a lot today, from the full moon in Virgo being pointed at by the finger of God Goddess, of the sun in Aries breaking ego masks, Pluto turning inward and asking for your underground work, and young men being held by grandmother moon and assisted by Venus, and invited to finally release what they've been carrying. Uranus sitting with the Pleiades, transmitting the clearest signal it has sent in years. This is an initiation to walk through with your eyes and your heart open. And the only thing I want you to remember is this: the stars have always been speaking clearly. You just finally have the right antenna. Your body's been saying this to you all along, man. So go look up. The sky is real. And so are your experiences. And if today resonated with you and you're ready to start reading the real sky for yourself, grab that free PDF, Unlock the New Zodiac. This is your quick start guide to true sidereal astrology. And link is below. And if you want to go deeper, come join us inside Zodiac Club 13. That is my school group where we gather together all during the month, and we are looking at the real sky. Links for everything are in the description. And now that you know why May 2026 ignites soul healing only the real sky can reveal, you might be wondering, how April 2026 ended with ancient magic no one is talking about. Once you paired what you just learned with this video right up here, it's way more powerful because I got you covered. As always, blessed be, namaste, and all that jazz, and I will see you in the next video.